for new contacts that are positive. I met with the KW team last week and got positive response, so I should be able to expect to do some work with them. I met with a home inspector on Tuesday. Had about a 2-hour meeting with him, and we're going to be talking about referring some business back and forth. And he's going to give me a name of some agents for warm introductions, which I was pleased with.
Good.
Did a couple pre-qualifications. Got an offer written day before yesterday. Waiting to hear back on that.
Awesome.
So that's all positive stuff. On the other side of it, I've had several unqualifiable referrals. I had a big deal that I was expecting to close here in a few weeks. The appraisal came in substantially low, and I had a situation where I referred somebody for a reverse mortgage, and our team's doing a great job with it. However, we found out that it's zoned commercial, not residential.
Oh my gosh, man! Don't you just hate that?
Well, yeah, especially on that reverse mortgage. It's an 88-year-old woman. Who, wants to stay in her home. It would be a very positive thing. So anyway, long and the short is they're working on the zoning issue. Hopefully, she can get it resolved sooner than later.
Wow.
It's down. Wow. It's over your way. It's over your way in Canton.
Oh, it is. Okay. Yep, I know exactly where that is then. Okay. Well, you know what I heard in that. You know what I heard in that entire sentence that you just said to me that I really, really kind of I just loved.
What's that?
The number of referrals. I understand that not all of them are qualifiable, but the fact that you're getting referrals, which means you are communicating in such a way that makes you referable. And I guess that's the evolution that I'm anxious to keep seeing out of you and Cheryl and Kat, is when you start realizing that you have this power or this gift or this talent to attract people to want to tell other people about you. That's really the fundamental piece on how I'm going to help you build your business, and you'll get to the point where your business is going to rely more on your advocates, and most of them could be your past clients or current clients, and realtors may make up 50% or less of your day-to-day business, because I genuinely think, and I know this from statistics, but I genuinely think, and I like to believe this in my heart, that people as a whole generally want to help other people. I don't believe that I know that there's bad in the world, but I honestly think that as a rule of thumb, I always assume that everybody's a good person and really wants to help. Does that make sense?
It does.
The difference comes in how we approach the situation. Let me give you a little bit of a let me give you a statistic that I've always kind of held true to my heart. So if you take the last 10 people that you've met or done business with, there are 2 out of that 10 that I call introverts. You guys all know what an introvert is, right?
Yep.
Yep. Somebody that no matter what you do or say is never really going to talk to other people about you. So let's just for conversation's sake, 2 out of the 10 are just going to be introverts. There's another 2 that I call social mavens. These are the people that are the social hubs of their family and their friends, and they're the matriarchs. They're the people that go to a diner and they tell everybody. They're the ones that are living on Facebook and that tell everybody everything, good, bad, or indifferent. They're spreading the word like wildfire, and we all know those people. And if you don't know those people, it actually might be you. So we've got 40% of the population in this segment. 2 of them are 20% are introverts, the other 20% are social mavens. So as it relates to business, you can do an amazing job for that 40%, but you're probably only going to get 2 people to actually tell other people about you. And they'll do it just because that's who they are. Do you guys all know people like that in your life?
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
The key is the next 60%. The next 60% would be those people that would definitely help you, would definitely lend you a hand if they knew you needed help. Let me say that again. The remaining 6 or 60% would gladly help you if you told them that you needed help. Here's where the greatest disconnect comes in. Most of the time, we as professionals believe that when we ask for help, it's a sign of weakness, it's a sign of lack of intelligence or lack of drive or lack of whatever. Many times we let go of the idea that asking people for help is a powerful asset to our business. I use the analogy like this. If you had a friend that was moving, hey Bruce.
Yeah.
Hey Bruce, I'm getting some feedback on your phone, I think.
I'm on my computer.
Yeah, I can hear my echo. Do you have a headset you can put in, or can you call the line or something?
Yep.
Yeah, that would be easier.
Okay.
Because I'm hearing myself, I can hear my echo.
Okay.
The other 60% would gladly help you if you asked, and I kind of equate it to this. We all have friends in our life that if at some point they were to pack up and move to another city or down the road or whatever, and we found out that they moved and they didn't reach out to us and ask us for help, how would that make you feel? Cheryl, could you imagine how one of your friends were to move and didn't tell you? How would that make you feel?
I'd be hurt, for sure.
Why would you be, well, why would you be hurt?
Why would I be hurt? Because they didn't tell me they're moving and we have a close relationship.
Okay. And if they didn't ask you for help, what would that mean to you? Would it mean that your relationship with them may not mean as much, right? It would kind of make you feel like maybe I'm not as important?
Yes.
Okay. This is the power of what it is that I'm after. When we position ourselves in front of our clients to be that friend, like I told my clients almost at every application, isn't it nice to know you have a friend in the business now? That was usually my exit statement. That was usually the conversation that I stood up and shook hands or hugged my clients with and sent them out into the world remembering. Isn't it nice to know you have a friend in the business? Because under that premise, Cheryl, it goes without saying that if your friends ever needed help, you would gladly help them. The same holds true with us. If we can establish that we care about our clients at a level that we would consider them to be friends, I'm not saying friends that you go to have dinner with on a Friday night or celebrate holidays together, but a friend in the sense of the relationship side of it. I care about you. I want you to know that I care about your goals, wants, and needs. I want to be a friend for you in this process. I want to treat you and honor you like your friends would. When you're able to have that conversation, you're then able to tell your clients that you might need their help, or not might, you will need their help. And asking them for help becomes in part of your presentation. It becomes part of your conversation. And if the 60% ratio is factual, and I can supply you guys with data on my lead trackers from a lead tracker since 2005. I can show you that it works. If you ask your clients, 80% of your business, 80% of the people that you communicate with, 80% of the people that you close loans with will gladly refer you if you ask. 60% of them won't. 60% of that 80% won't refer you if you don't. That's a pretty daunting number. Would you guys agree?
Yes.
So how many people are you asking for help from in your calls? Cheryl, you and I had a conversation earlier this week, and we talked about reason and purpose.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is what you're doing on that call is you're orchestrating and creating a conversation that says, hey, I could use your help. The reality is that we don't spend enough time, A, talking to people. We spend a lot of time disseminating information, but we don't spend a lot of time talking to people. And we don't spend enough time asking our clients for help. The truth is that in order to get to the point where you feel comfortable asking your clients for help, we have to swim upstream a little bit, and we have to go back to when the relationship originated. I think the best time to do that is as soon as the client picks up the phone and dials your number. I also believe that if you decided to do this midstream, it can't be done, but it's a lot harder. And I'll cite this example. So there's a local bank up here that I joined because it was open 7 days a week. It's a great feature. I think it's pretty neat that I could go there on a Sunday and take care of some banking needs, especially since I have rental properties. The problem that I had with the bank, and one of the reasons that I no longer bank there, isn't because of the service level. It was because every time I pulled into the drive-thru, or every time I walked into the customer service, to go talk to a teller, they were always nice and polite, but they always finished with, "Please don't forget to refer your friends and family. We'll even give you money for it." I always felt like I was a little bit misled every time they asked me that question. They did a great job. I didn't have a problem with it, but that's not the reason why I joined the bank. I joined the bank for my reason, because they were open 7 days a week. The point is that whenever you don't communicate the realities of what you're after in the very beginning or in the agreement stage of the relationship, you have a harder time conveying to them what your real want is later. If I had said, "Guys, we're going to go see a play today," and I'm going to go take you guys to go see the play Wicked, this is an example, and we all went in and we sat down, and when the curtain dropped, it ended up being a live rock and roll concert. It's still entertainment. You guys may even have enjoyed it, but you had your heart set on the show Wicked. The truth is that though nothing bad happened, you still felt like you lost trust in what I told you. You broke, or I broke the trust because I didn't tell you exactly what was going to happen. This is the key piece of this. When you enter into an agreement with a client, it is imperative that before you agree to move forward with the transaction, that you spend some time establishing the agreements of the relationship. I'll give it an example. Our clients are always asking us for agreements. We're always having to make commitments on our side of the table. I will deliver the rate. I will deliver the fees. I will deliver the closing time. I will be available. We're always being asked to live up to their agreements. How many of us turn that conversation around and ask the client for some agreements? I'm willing to bet you neither one of you, and none of you guys are having those conversations because nobody's ever taught you. Nobody's ever asked you to do that. Is there anybody on this call that actually has a conversation and asks the client for certain things? Whether it's being turn around and make sure that if I ask you for a document, you do it in a timely manner, or that I call you, you call me right back, or if I need something, that you're going to make it a priority. We don't spend any time putting expectations on our clients, but we have all the expectations put on us. Now, the difference between those two in my mind is one's very transactional and the other one is very relational. The point that Cheryl and I, Cheryl, the point that I was trying to make with you earlier in the week was you have a great opportunity every time that you get a new client to establish a new precedent for how you want your business to look. I would love to see conversations take place before the mortgage stuff ever gets started. And I'll give you an example on how that looks. So whenever I had a client call me for the very first time, I always answered the phone and said, "Hey, this is Doug. How may I help you?" And the person on the other end would go something like this. "Hi, my name is Sally Johnson. My brother did a mortgage with you a couple years ago and said that I should talk to you about refinancing my home." Now, I have a choice to make on how I want that conversation to go. I believe that Sally already has a perception of who I am because her brother has kind of mapped out a little bit about who I am. Otherwise, she wouldn't be calling me. I know that I must have done a great job with her brother for her to want to call me, So the first thing I have to do is figure out what it is about me she likes. And so I would usually start it with, that's awesome, Sally. I remember your brother. You know, what did your brother say about me that made you want to call? And she would get into some conversation that would say, you delivered what you promised, you exceeded his expectation. I mean, something along the lines that was always positive. It's almost a given, because otherwise they wouldn't be calling you. The beautiful part of that conversation is really cool because you're figuring out what their needs are, and they don't even know it. They're telling you what's important to them, and they don't even realize it. So after I get to that point, I let her talk, and I do what I can to engage her a little bit farther and find out if there's some type of connection that we have. Oh, that's awesome. Great, great. So where do you live? Oh, I live in Livonia. Oh, my gosh, I was born in Livonia. We chit-chat for a little bit. Once I feel like I have some rapport with the client, then I turn it into, awesome. You know what, Sally? Before we continue, I got to be honest with you. I'm going to learn a ton of stuff about you. Probably more information about you than you share with your brother, and more information than you share with anybody, and I don't take that lightly. I'd like to teach you or give you a little bit of background on who I am and why I do this. And at that point, the client is 100% receptive. And I go into, I got to be, you know, my business is built the exact same way that your brother referred you to me. My business is built on this philosophy called the triangle of trust. I expect that my clients, when I'm taking them through the process, I promise to do such a great job in, you know, helping you close a loan in a process that's extremely difficult, that as we go through the process, I ask my clients to be advocates of me. I ask my clients to go out there and tell other people about my business and service. And as you go through the process, I'm going to expect that you're going to be an advocate and tell your friends and the family and other people you care about how good of a job my team and I are doing. And the benefit to you about this is really simple. That means that we're going to spend all of our time and energy working on your loan, because our number one concern is ensuring that you are ecstatic with this process. Now, I'm not going to promise you that it's going to be perfect, but I'm going to promise you that we're going to do an exceptional job of maintaining a great relationship with you and holding your hand through the process. And so, you know, the benefit to you about that is that we're always here to service your needs and your wants and your goals. But by doing that, we expect certain things from our clients. One is, I expect that you go back to your brother and say thank you. That's a huge importance to me, because I need him to know that we're doing a great job for you. But the second is that when we go through the process, I know you're going to talk to other people about it. And I want you to tell other people in your life that you care about how good of a job we're doing and advocate us to them. Is that something that you can work with? 100% of the time, without fail, oh my gosh, that's exactly, okay, I would love to. My brother said that, and I've got a friend. Well, this is all within the first 15 minutes of a phone conversation, and I've not said one word about the mortgage business. What I've done is I've laid a foundation for what my business is all about. I capitalize on the chance to realize that I have 60% of the people that I talk to are going to be advocates of my business if I only ask them for help. But I can't ask people for help if they don't agree to my request before we start talking about mortgages. Can anybody see what I just did there? Does anybody else not understand the psychology of what just happened in that conversation? Hello?
I'm here. I understand it. Yes.
Okay. Cheryl, what did you hear me say in that conversation in your own words?
Well, basically, you know, you're telling them that you know, you built your foundation on the triangle of trust, and you want them to be an advocate for you and for your team. And it's not necessarily going to be an easy process, but you're going to do a great job for them, and you expect them to go back and tell the person that referred them, her brother in this case, give them a thank you. And you know, you also expect them to tell them, their friends and family, you know, about you and be an advocate for your business.
Why do you think that's so important to have that conversation in the beginning?
Well, it's because, like you just said, if you told us you were taking us to see Wicked and then you took us to a rock concert, you've set the wrong expectation.
Correct. Correct. And you can see where, in order to be referable, you have to maximize your trust with your clients. you can't give them any reason to feel awkward or uncomfortable because it potentially could break that trust. And so when you start the conversation out that way, you really touch to the 60% of the clients that you're going to be doing business with. You touch them in a way that allows you to have those soft conversations like we talked about earlier this week, about waiting for those moments and orchestrating those referral moments and asking them, hey, don't keep me a secret. It's such a different impact when the person has agreed to be an advocate of your business if you do a great job, and then to have them say you're doing a great job, and for you to go back and say, thanks for noticing, please don't keep me a secret, because now it becomes part of the relationship. It's an agreement. And that's such a powerful message that we tend to overlook or we gloss over. Most meetings with loan officers and clients goes to, hey, my name is Doug, nice to meet you, let's talk about your paperwork, let's get into the facts, figures, and let's get into the logistics of the loan business. I would say that that is a huge misstep, largely due in part to the fact that you haven't created any advocacy to your business. And I'll be honest with you, most consumers, without question, most consumers are craving that kind of a connection. We work in and live in what I call an experiential economy. People buy and use products and services based on a feeling of an experience. Coca-Cola. You guys know what Coca-Cola puts on their bottles right now?
Lyrics.
They put people's names, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you've noticed a Coke bottle that has people's names or a title, have a Coke with a friend. That's an experience. They're selling an experience, a feeling. The reality is that anybody, for that matter, can go get a mortgage on the internet. The internet has taken away the commoditization of it's really maximized the commoditization of our business. So how people are thriving in this business is realizing that the relationships that they create, it's about creating an experience for the clients. The agreement that I create in the beginning, the message of the triangle of trust, the analogies that I use to help drive home that point, and isn't it nice to know you have a friend in the business? Those words, those conversations are all about touching that emotional side of people. When you do that, when you take it from that black side of the business, which is very transactional, and you dig down through the layers and get to that red, which is the emotional side, you insulate yourself against all the other issues that people tend to face. People believe that you have their best interests at heart when you tell them that you have your best interests at heart. People align themselves with people that are like them. People want to work with somebody who makes them feel like they're important. We are so good at closing loans. We are so good at taking people through the loan process that we miss out on the biggest misstep of our business, and that is getting our clients to advocate us. We are not juggernauts like a McDonald's or a Coca-Cola. We don't have multi-million-dollar accounts to spend money on. We have to focus on what our individual brand is. Cheryl and I think you and I talked about this. My brand was gratitude. My business was built around gratitude. So every thought, every decision, every motive, every process that I created was about creating opportunities of gratitude, getting our clients and our referral partners to work to say thank you to us. That model of gratitude I could apply in any sales business. It doesn't have to be mortgages. But you guys have to realize that every client that you get a chance to work with is a chance for them to advocate you to other people. And if you guys understand how Facebook works, one person probably has 300 people in their Facebook account. Let's just look at that in and of itself. If you got one person to advocate you to their Facebook friends, do you think it's possible that you could get a referral? Does anybody think that it almost seems almost inevitable, right?
Yes.
So ask yourself this question. Have you set the stage appropriately with your clients? Do they know that your business revolves around their satisfaction with you? Do they know that your business requires, I don't say that lightly, it requires them to be advocates of your business? And are you asking them and reminding them through the process to help you? The reality of the numbers is simple. You should be getting a 30% return on your clients referring you during the process. So if you've got 3 clients that are in the process, you should have conversations with your clients that should yield you 1 referral out of those 3. But more importantly, the other 2, you're planting seeds with. I'm living proof. I haven't done 1 bit of solicitation in my database, truly. Actually, let me rephrase that. This is even a more aha moment that I just realized. I gave my business to a good friend of mine who took it over, who's been managing it for the last 3 years. So he's done marketing and advertising to my database. Phone numbers, names, even a letter that I endorsed him taking over my business. I still am getting past clients calling me. Not Alan. They're calling me. That has to say something. I think it says something to me about what it is that I communicated to my clients when I actually did business with them. I think I counted on one transaction, I think it was years ago, I think I mentioned the word referrals and how my business was built 8 to 10 times in the initial consultation. I found creative ways of bringing it up. I basically beat it into their head. And then I delivered on what I promised. You guys have to ask yourself, if you're not getting enough business and you are tired of, getting referrals that don't turn into something, I don't want you to look at the fact that the loan didn't turn out to be something. I want you to look at it as you're expanding your brand. Every time that you have a chance to get a referral, something amazing just happened. And every time that you have a chance to talk to that referral about what you do is an amazing opportunity. Whether you close a loan for them or not, whether they're capable or not, you shouldn't change your presentation because you're doing what you need to expand your brand. And your brand, whatever it is, mine was gratitude. I took a chance on every client. I talked to every client the same way. If I wasn't able to do their loan, it didn't change the fact that I asked them to go back to the referral source and say thank you. And it also didn't change the fact that I asked them to go out there and advocate my business. Remember, I've always said to you guys, I may not be the best option for you to do a loan with, but I'm the best option for you to talk to when trying to decide what your options are. That was my brand. That was where I orchestrated the moment of, thank you, Doug. I appreciate your honesty. I created moments of gratitude, and I capitalized on them. You guys have the same opportunities. You have the same qualifications. And in some cases, you guys are probably better LOs than I ever was. The reality is that we're not positioning ourselves to seek agreements with our clients when we first start doing business with them. If you change your presentation to include that part of it, before you talk about one pay stub or one W-2 and one credit report, you're going to fill a need that the client has, but don't even realize. We talked about going into Home Depot, maybe it was with you guys or somebody else, but you walk into Home Depot and you want to build a birdhouse. And the guy that greets you, a greeter at Home Depot, says, oh my gosh, I built 1,000 of them, I'll show you. And he takes you through Home Depot and he shows you all the components and all the parts and he tells you how to assemble it. At any point in time, did you concern yourself with the price of that one hinge versus the one that was 2 inches over on the aisle? Did you concern yourself once on the quality of wood that you're getting, or if there's a lesser expensive product? No, because the person that you met basically took all of your fears away because you've never built a birdhouse before, and he told you that he's done 1,000 of them. So you listen intently, you believe in what he's doing, and if he said to you, please do me a favor, if you know anybody else that's trying to build a birdhouse, I think I'm an expert, I'd love to help them. You might go out there and tell somebody, if they were thinking about building a birdhouse, go talk to the guy at Home Depot. The truth is, guys, is that we're not positioning ourselves to be the expert. We're positioning ourselves more often than not just to be an order taker. And I think it's a mistake. Well, that's my soapbox. Anybody have any questions?
Hey, Doug, I have a question. I have
a
question for you. So this happened after we talked. When you have a realtor that has referred somebody to you, and all they do when they first call you is all they're doing is rate shopping. And yet you have this realtor refer you. And so how do you handle that?
Well, first off, I think there's two approaches. One is the realtor has to be saying something to them right out of the gates that either tells them that you're the best rate in town or you're the cheapest rate in town or something. That's a possibility. The other thing is that you can probably guarantee that the people that are calling you from the realtor's referral may be not really a referral to the realtor in the first place. Maybe it was just a lead. Are they cold leads that the realtor's getting?
My guess is that it probably was a cold lead.
Okay, so here's how I handle those conversations, because it's different if it's a referral to the realtor from a past client of the realtor and it comes to you. There's definitely an issue that the realtor has to help you with. But I think the easiest way to do this, Cheryl, is to first stop and understand that a client that's asking you about rates is not really clear on who you are yet. You haven't positioned yourself to them to show them what your value is. So in those moments, and let's be honest, you have 20% of your clients that come to you, they're just never going to be happy and you're just never going to get them. And there always will be rate shoppers. So we have to first decide on whether or not this person's a diehard rate shopper, or if the person that's, if this referral is calling you and they're asking you about rates because that's what they think that you're measured by, because that's really what they're saying. Like, I don't know what your business is all about, but I know what rates are. So the truth is, in those moments, I would always say, hey, Cheryl, just for a moment, I appreciate that you're looking for rates. My business is built on a different model. I mean, I'm very competitive with regards to rates, but I find that a lot of times that if I was to start spouting off interest rates, they're not really going to be indicative of what your real needs, wants, and goals are in the mindset of this. I don't think a doctor would ever prescribe a medication to you over the phone unless you came in and did a full analysis and a full body screening. And the truth is that I'm very, very similar to that, not because I can't prescribe a rate to you over the phone, so to speak, but I feel like I'd be doing you a disservice if I just simply quoted you an interest rate, because I don't know what your wants, goals, and needs are. I have no idea what you're after, and to be honest, I wouldn't be giving you the value that you're really seeking here. I don't know what you're after. And if rates are really all you're after, I can give you an interest rate of 2% if that's really what you're after. But then that comes with a lot more fees and points, and you have to decide, does that make sense? Is there a place where you should pay more money to get the better interest rate, or should you pay less money? But see, all that comes with a conversation, and I have to have that with you face to face in order for me to be able to really help you out. Now, I realize I may not be able to do your mortgage, but I honestly believe that I'm the best person for you to talk to in deciding what your options are. Would that be fair? Would you be willing to take the time to meet with me?
Sure.
See, the reality is you're putting the conversation back on them. I would love to help you, but if you're not willing to meet with me, then I'm not really interested in investing my time and energy with you, because you don't fit my business model. You know what I mean? You're never going to be an advocate of my business. Mm-hmm. If they say, yes, I would love to meet with you, then you have the greatest chance in conveying to them the value of what you're doing, and to make rate an important issue, but not really the number 1, 2, or 3 issue. Because you're going to spend time with them initially to figure out what their goals, wants, and needs are, and you're going to build a relationship with them. You're going to talk to them unlike anybody else has ever talked to them, and they're going to start to feel like you're better and you're a much more qualified professional to work with, not because of your rates and fees, but because you care at a higher level than what most people have ever demonstrated. Most people, most consumers will fall into that category. They'll fall into, well, I thought rates are really, you guys are all doing the same thing, right? And we know that people in our business are hacks. There are people that promise the world and don't deliver anything. But the consumer doesn't know that. The consumer approaches it with this fear mentality of, I don't know who you are. My realtor said call you, but I still don't know who you are. Mm-hmm. And it's at that moment that you have to look at it and go, I have to frame myself in a light that makes me different than every other experience that this person's had. And it starts with how you communicate your value to them. That's why it's so important to have that conversational script, kind of in place for yourself. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Does anybody else see how that works? Does anybody else understand, how that conversation would go with a client that's shopping you?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And you have to realize too, you have to decide if you care. You have to decide if that person, if you have no loans in the pipeline and this is a $400,000 loan and this guy's beating you up on rates, well, guys, you have to make a decision for your business. I'm not saying don't take it. I'm just saying that you should use an opportunity to see if they're really rate shopping you or if they're really just using it as a barrier to determine whether or not you're the right person to talk to. Think about, go ahead, Cheryl.
This guy just kept pushing me for a GFE. He kept calling it like GFE.
I don't.
GFE.
Yep, I don't put out GFEs.
Right, and so basically I said, well, first of all, we don't have a GFEs anymore, but basically that's all he was doing. He was completely a rate shopper, and he ended up sending me something. I said, you know what? If you can get that deal and closed in 30 days, go for it. That's a great deal.
Yep. Yep. I'll give you another real-world example, and this is from a past client, so it happens with all of us. So Denise, who's my fiance, runs my practice now. She, I gave her a past client of mine who ended up rate shopping her to death. This guy came back and was a half a point lower than what we could offer, and she was very aggressive. She said, you know what, Ryan, I'm sorry, I think you should take the deal. And he goes, great, thank you for your honesty. He went. 45 days later, guess who called her? He did. You know why? Because the guy couldn't get the loan closed, and he couldn't get the rate that he promised him. And what happens when he comes back? He goes, I don't care what the rate you give me, I just got to close the loan. And the truth is that you guys have to realize that you can have your business be however you want it. I never sent out good faith estimates ahead of time. I never did. I refused to, because I knew that as soon as I sent out the good faith, I commoditized myself against everybody else that was out there, and all it required was my good faith being sent to another lender, and they would use that, and they would undercut me.
Right.
The truth is that the good faith estimate is not an indication of whether or not you're going to get a loan or if you're getting a good deal. We are honest. We are clear. We're professional. We're going to give them the truth. But there's 100 other lenders that they could get good faith estimates from that aren't going to tell them the truth, that aren't going to be 100% accurate. So I always made it a point to say, if you were seeking a good faith estimate, I would tell you that you would be wise to go out there and get estimates from all the other banks that are out there, and then send me your most competitive one, because I run my business. This is my practice. And if you send it to me, I'll be more than happy to either match it, beat it, or tell you that you have such an unbelievable deal, you should go take it. That put me in a position of, I want your business, I just don't need it. And when you tell people that you want their business but don't need it, it totally changes the dynamic. When you give them a permission to reject you, and you give yourself the same permission to reject them, it changes the dynamics of the entire relationship. It's a huge piece. We'll talk about in 2 weeks when we have our next call. Was this relevant to you guys? You guys see any value in what we just talked about today?
Yeah, very much.
Yeah? Okay. Yeah, does anybody see where this could help their business out today?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. You guys all have clients. You guys all have people that you're trying to get loans for. You guys probably all have referrals to talk to. Please, please, please implement this conversation. I'll send out the replay. Listen to it again. I'm telling you, it changes your business. I'm not saying that lightly. It changes your business, and it gives you a chance to increase your business whenever you want. Okay?
Good stuff.
All right, guys. I appreciate your time and energy. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your families. Stay healthy. Stay safe. Next week, guys, I won't be doing a class. I'll be in Arizona with my daughter, going to visit the Grand Canyon. So we will pick up this conversation in 2 weeks.
Thanks,
All right,
Doug.
sounds good.
I want to hear some. I want to hear
Sure.
some success stories. I want to hear some success stories, please. I want to see how this is impacting your business, and I want it to be real world. I want to see your bottom line increase because of it.
Okay.
Can't wait.
Okay, guys? Have a great afternoon. Be referable and be inspirational. Have a good afternoon.
All right. Thank you,
Thank
Doug.
You
you too. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.